It's an issue dividing the nation.
You have man parts, you go to a man bathroom, and if you have lady parts, you go to a lady bathroom. That's my take on it.
And the retail giant Target has chosen sides.
People have their own beliefs and stuff, but what can it hurt?
Is boycotting the answer? We'll tackle this topic on today's 700 Club Interactive. Well, welcome to the show. You've probably seen a bullseye logo blowing up in your Facebook newsfeed. Well, that's because Target's transgender bathroom controversy has people fired up. Target believes people should be allowed to use the bathroom that makes them feel the most comfortable. And many businesses and corporations and those in the entertainment industry are taking a strong supportive stand. But not everyone agrees. The American Family Association started a petition to boycott Target, and now over 1 million people have already signed it.
Well, the boycott was organized after Target released the following statement. In our stores, we demonstrate our commitment to an inclusive experience in many ways. Most relevant for the conversations currently underway, we welcome transgender team members and guests to use the bathroom or fitting room facility that corresponds with their gender identity. The American Family Association says, quote, Target's policy is exactly how sexual predators get access to their victims. So, Gordon, what do you think about Target's new policy?
Well, I've got two examples for you. The first one comes from Northern Virginia, and this was just in last October. Here's his mugshot, where this is the man who was arrested, and that's what he looks like in real life. And then here's how he was dressed as he went into a woman's bathroom in a mall in Northern Virginia, and he had a video camera in one of those plastic bags, and he would put that bag underneath the stall to video the woman in the next stall. He got arrested. There are plenty of laws against that kind of behavior, but you wonder if this transgender that he could claim, well, that's the gender I felt most comfortable being in the bathroom, does it somehow give him license? There's also another side to it, and that is if you are transgender, well, where do you go to the bathroom? Well, Michael Shannon is a transgender man who says the new law will raise other safety issues.
My presentation as male positions me to go into the male restroom. But if I have to go into the restroom of my biological gender, I have a problem now, because now I'm in the female restroom with this male presentation. So you end up staying home where you would normally go out. You end up maybe not socializing as much. Those kinds of things for a trans person in particular incite depression.
You know, I do wonder, has common sense left us on this one? And you look at, let's take the most famous one, Bruce Jenner. If Caitlyn were to walk into a men's bathroom, I'm not sure that would be a good experience for anybody.
Well, in some ways, I mean, when you look at, was it Michael? Was that the name of this person who just spoke? Who has the appearance of male? You know, no one would ever really know if you went into a bathroom. I mean, really. I mean, and in a woman's bathroom, I mean, the issue isn't the transgender person so much as it is the person who has an agenda that's perverse about the general population coming into that bathroom, like the guy trying to take pictures under the door. But Jenner, for sure, would walk into a woman's room, go into a stall, close the door, and do whatever he's doing.
To be done.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I'm going to make a bold prediction, and you got to keep in mind, I think Target is sort of positioning here, because the reality in the majority of Target stores is that they're single-stall bathrooms. So just as we've seen handicapped single-stalled, or we've seen these changing station single-stall bathrooms, I think we're going to see that rise. And now will that affect building codes and increase construction costs? But if it solves the issue, it solves the issue.
Exactly. If it solves the issue. Last night, I was at a fundraising dinner, and when I came out of the ballroom where everybody had eaten, there were 6 family bathrooms available to people. And so, you know, you've traveled a great deal, as have I. When you're in Europe, very often the stall doors go from the top all the way to the bottom. There'd be no way for anybody to interfere with anyone in a bathroom. So people who are perverse in their intentions are going to get in there no matter what the law says, because that's
right. But I think there are
their
laws
agenda.
against that.
Right.
And so just as this man in Northern Virginia, somebody was alert, hey, this is not right. They go get a security guard. He's detained.
Yes.
He's arrested.
Yeah.
He's now going to have to live with the fact that he committed a sex crime.
Right.
And he's going to be identified and labeled with that for the rest of his life. So I think the laws already exist to stop that behavior.
But you can see the dilemma of someone who is a transgender person. I mean, what do they do? I mean, really, their lives could be in peril.
Well, I know they don't want my pity, but I can't help but feel sorry for them. That,
Yes,
you know, what they're going through, have been through, going through, and then post-surgery, post-change, post-hormone, actually life doesn't get a whole lot better for them.
Yeah.
And it, you know, I know they don't want my pity, but I do feel sorry for them.
Yeah. Well, it's puzzling to figure out how to do life when you're already, you know, making some considerable puzzling decisions about how you're what you're gonna look like, how you're gonna walk through that process. So, you know, I have compassion for the situation on that side as well. You know, much of what we're talking about today started with 2 bills passed in Mississippi and North Carolina. The laws were meant to protect religious freedoms, but that's not the way they're being portrayed in our politically correct culture right now. Here's a short video from Family Research Council that shows how big business is spinning this controversy.
Heard the news? Big business is all up in arms about new laws passed in North Carolina and Mississippi. Leaders of major corporations have denounced the new protections for women, children, churches, and yes, businesses too. They're upset because in North Carolina, the government cannot punish businesses for having bathrooms designated for men only and women only. And in Mississippi, the new law stops the government from discriminating against people who believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. But many of these same corporations are actively seeking to do business in Cuba, are doing business in countries where women are treated as property and not even allowed to drive, in countries where homosexual behavior is illegal, even in countries where homosexuality is punishable by death. What hypocrisy! As big business scolds conservative lawmakers, just remember, when it comes to moral authority, these corporations don't have any ground to stand on.
Terry, it is interesting how it changes based on where you're doing business, and you have one standard for Mississippi and another standard for Saudi Arabia. And I just find it fascinating, and I'm really glad they put that out because it holds them accountable. Yeah. Why are you having a double standard?
And these are all big companies that are doing business in these other places. I mean, the word hypocrisy comes to mind, and wherever the pocketbook is involved, you can be sure you'll find some measure of that in the decisions corporately made by people. I mean, what's your take on all of this?
Well, I do have a specific take on the 2 laws. Mm-hmm. And in North Carolina, I think that law is ultimately going to be changed because it says you have to go to the bathroom of the gender listed on your birth certificate. Yeah. And for transgendered, I think it's pretty clear that's just not going to work. But the law in Mississippi is one we as Christians all need to pay attention to. Yeah. Because this one is protecting your freedom of conscience. That if for religious reasons, for your conviction, you can't participate in a gay wedding. There are protections in there for those who are getting married that if you're a government official, you have to provide a quick and easy solution for them to get the license. But it exempts you from participating in that behavior. And if you're a business, you don't have to bake the cake kind of thing. And it's not a denial of basic services. What it is allowing Christians to live free in the United States and live according to their convictions. This one is completely different than the North Carolina law, and we need to wake up to this one. It's a good law. I think it provides protection for Christians. protections for the gay community at the same time. It's not denying anybody anything other than allowing Christians to be able to live free in the United States and live according to their convictions.
Considering the fact that some of these charges that have been made against bakery owners and venues for weddings they obviously are so directly targeted with intention in mind.
Well, I think they're targeted from the get-go, that they're trying to find, like the pizza parlor in Indiana, it was such a setup. I mean, who orders pizza for your wedding?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
Please. Yeah.
And so they got trapped. I think they were targeted and they got trapped in the wrong response.
Yeah.
Now in Oregon, I think very definitely that government official wanted to make an example.
Yes.
The fine is just completely outsized to whatever offense is going on.
But when something is deliberate, there is an intention behind it. What's the bigger agenda here, do you think?
Well, I'm disturbed by the labeling of it to say it's a denial of basic goods and services. Mm-hmm. That somehow or other, if these laws go forward, it means gay people can be denied.
So making it prejudice as opposed to just living your conscience.
And we've got to get the argument back where it really is, which is, as individuals in the United States of America, do you have freedom of conscience? Are you going to be forced to participate in activity that you don't agree with, that you think is immoral? And if the price of that is you can no longer operate a bakery or you can no longer operate a wedding chapel, then that's going to be a price Christians are going to have to face, and do we pay it? And
not only no longer operate, on top of that, you're going to pay a hefty, hefty fine that...
Well, I think the fines are designed to drive you out of business.
Absolutely.
And send a message to everybody else that...
Fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, you better be afraid, be very afraid. Well, coming up, hear from a desperate woman living in the West Bank.
I cannot describe the terrible things my husband did to me. He controlled me a lot. I didn't feel safe in my own house.
See how you helped empower her to start a new life. That's next.
Well, across the Middle East, women are practically treated as second-class citizens, and a number of them are trapped in abusive relationships. Some of them don't have the ability to make it on their own, which is why Operation Blessing set up a new training program just for them.
At a women's empowerment center in the West Bank, I met Fadia. At this center, she and the other ladies have learned to make stuffed animals and children's clothes they sell at local stores.
You see something like this somewhere, you came up with this idea.
Fadia is one of many women who have found hope here after harsh and painful divorces.
I cannot describe the terrible things my husband did to me. He controlled me a lot. I didn't feel safe in my own house.
It's culturally unacceptable for a Muslim woman to divorce her husband. So Fadia struggled in the relationship for 10 years until she couldn't take it anymore.
The divorce was very emotional. I even had to give up my 3 children.
Fadia's family disowned her after the divorce, and she couldn't find a job because no one would hire her.
Everyone turned against me. People saw me differently and said bad things about me. It was horrible.
Then Fadia found the Women's Center, which is supported by Operation Blessing. I loved seeing some of the stuffed animals and clothes they make.
You like that?
I have a bruise today. Beep.
Everything they make has been a big hit at stores all over the West Bank, and that's helped these ladies rebuild their confidence.
Operation Blessing really encouraged me in the direction I was going in my life. They gave me a lot of emotional support and helped me learn how to be a divorced woman in this culture.
Thanks to Operation Blessing, Fadia can now make a living for herself. And she's going to college to study graphic design. She can even afford special dinners for her sons, so she gets to see them more often than ever before.
I can't thank Operation Blessing enough for this. It strengthens me to know that there are people who care about women like me. You helped me get my feet back on the ground.
We want to help people, And we want to do that in innovative ways, imaginative ways, ways that meet them right at their point of need. And it's not a handout, it's a hand up to give them dignity, the dignity to earn a living, to have a place, to have position, to have a hope and a future. If you want to be a part of that, join the 700 Club. It's real easy. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call us. 888-777-1999. Now, how much is it? It's just $20 a month. That breaks out to 65 cents a day. And you join with tens of thousands of people that say, we want to love people. We want to help them in their time of need. When you call and join, I've got something for you. I want you to have it. It's my father's latest teaching, Heaven, what God has prepared for those who love him. In here are stories of people who have died, who've gone to heaven, and then have come back miraculously, and they tell their stories. Plus, there's an interview with a cardiac surgeon who works in an emergency room, and he has his stories of people who have died on the operating table and then have been brought back to life. It's amazing, real life, eyewitness accounts, and it's yours when you join. So call us, 888-777-1999. Terry?
Well, still ahead, what's the fastest growing religious group in America? The answer is people with no religion, also known as the nuns. Find out how we can turn this trend around when we come back. America's religious landscape is changing. Studies show millennials are less religious than their parents ever were. And a new group is showing a dramatic rise in number. We're calling them the nuns. Jennifer Wishon explains.
Despite our Judeo-Christian roots, fewer Americans are identifying as Christians, while the number of Americans with no religion is growing at a record pace. Pew Research first surveyed more than 35,000 Americans about their religious views in 2007, then repeated the study 7 years later. During that time, those who call themselves Christians dropped nearly 8%, driven by declines among mainline Protestant and Catholic congregations. Non-Christian faiths inched up ever so slightly, just over 1%. At the same time, though, Americans who say they're atheist, agnostic, or so-called religious nuns jumped by more than 6%, making the nuns now nearly 23% of the population. 3 Christian U.S. senators, 2 Democrats and 1 Republican, recently talked about this change and the role faith plays in their jobs as elected leaders.
I've struggled in 22 years in public life for sort of how to be a religious person in the world that I'm in. And what I've decided is I should just be authentically who I am, and much like I would share that I'm interested in the Kansas City Chiefs or love baseball and camping, if I would share that, or if I would share that I'm married and have 3 children, why wouldn't I share the most important thing about me?
Oklahoma Senator James Lankford says the nation is becoming increasingly uncomfortable with expressions of faith.
I tell people all the time that faith is faith when it permeates every part of who you are. If your faith only matters to you on weekends, that's really not a faith, that's a hobby. And you can have a hobby, that's okay, but if it's a faith, it affects how I treat my wife, it affects how we treat each other, it affects how I drive, it affects how I interact with other people. It shouldn't be something that I hide because I was elected.
As people of faith and lawmakers work through these issues, the senators agree open dialogue is critical.
People will say you're either for religious liberty or you're for gay marriage. Or they'll say if you support religious liberty, then you're anti-gay. And they want to take that and just pull that apart. And that is factually not who we are, nor where we have been as a nation. And I think that is a very precarious road of constricting speech.
Putting people in a box, Lankford maintains, silences people of faith and stops important conversations. With the growth in millennials choosing lives without faith, Senator Chris Coons worries about religious literacy among non-believers. He says an individual's right to exercise their religion must be on equal footing with individual liberty.
As long as we can continue to lift up the importance of individual religious free exercise, and that it deserves an equal footing with a civil society where we respect individual liberty, we're at least asking the right questions.
And fortunately, those best principles do show up in the research. Devout Christians are actually reading their Bibles, sharing their faith, and praying together more today than they did 7 years ago. Senator Kaine says we're blessed to live in a country where both sides can talk about these issues civilly. That keeps America as a beacon to parts of the world where there is no peaceful approach to separate religious beliefs. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Washington.
Well, we shared this story on Facebook and we asked, should the growing number of Americans with no religion concern believers? And many of you weighed in on that question. Wayne writes, perhaps the church should stop trying to look like the world and start looking like something different, like, oh, I don't know, Christ perhaps? Why should the world bother with church when it's just another lame rock concert with a motivational speaker at the end? And then Eric says, I myself am for the death of religion and the rebirth of true Christianity. Then Dot writes, what does this decline mean? It means we're not living the life to show them Christ and not witnessing or praying for non-believers. So, Gordon, what do you think?
Well, I think we're in a general decline of Christianity in not just America, but we're following Europe. And Europe,
and yet other parts of the world, it's
bursting.
Exploding.
Because they are coming to realize that Christianity and Christian ideals are the way out. Yeah. And it's the way out of poverty, it's the way out of corruption, it gives a society a fabric to live together. And that's why you're seeing that. And within Europe, you know, I think there's just general anger at the church, anger that, you know, you're more interested in my money than in me, and I see that pretty much all over in my travels. Italy, I was frankly amazed the visceral reaction against it. So, what's the answer? The answer is we need to take courage. Yeah. The church was birthed in an incredibly hostile environment, and you go back to ancient Rome, ancient Greece. What we're now seeing starting to arise in America, nothing new. Mm-hmm. There's nothing new about it at all. These cultural shifts have happened before, and the issue for us is how can we be salt and light in the middle of a fallen world?
Just curious to know your personal opinion. Do we have to go to the lostness and emptiness of where the countries that are now exploding with Christianity were to find once again the faith that we had?
No, we don't have to go there. But I think we're well on the way. And when you look at the lack of principle in either our government or what we're currently calling big business, the stock market crash of 2008, where people were trading derivatives that they knew had no underlying basis, and the overall impact on the economy. When you can't trust business, and you no longer think that they operate on principle and shared principle, and it really tears things apart. So I think we're waking up to that, and we're waking up to lack of morality leads to a overall decay, and then you get into lack of trust, and now everything's at risk. Mm-hmm.
Chance to be light, though, as Sammy Rodriguez would say, right?
Yes, more than a chance. It's a great opportunity, and it's a great opportunity to show forth His light and His love. We just need to keep in mind, are we showing His love? Are we loving one another? Mm-hmm. That's the key for the church. Where's our love?
Well, we want to pray for revival in this country, and we're also going to pray for some of you who have reached out to us through Facebook. Teresa says, my husband has been laid off twice now. We need the Lord's direction and a job. And then Ronnie writes, I am believing God for a supernatural healing from ALS. Please pray for me. I need the power of prayer from other believers. Thank you.
Let's join in prayer. Don't just watch us pray, but join in. Lord, we just lift America to you right now, and we lift the nuns. We lift the ones who are saying, I don't want any part of organized religion. We just lift them to you. and ask that you would send messengers after your own heart to preach the glorious good news that you're not mad at them, you're not angry with them, you love them infinitely, and you love them so much you want them with you for all eternity.
Thank you.
And for these prayer requests, for a job, for healing from ALS, we just lift them to you right now. And we know that whatever we ask in accordance with your will, and it's your will to send jobs, it's your will to heal. We have what we ask. So we receive it now. In Jesus' name, we believe for it. And we thank you for it. Amen and amen. If you need prayer, we're here for you. We consider it an absolute honor to pray with you. And if you need someone to pray with you, all you have to do is call us. 888-777-1999. Here's a verse for you. It's from Matthew. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Remember to pray for America today. Pray for revival.